feel like I've been struggling with this behavior for a while. It got to a point where it was starting to have impact on my relationship. So I knew I needed to change it. It's so hard to do it on your own. But once I joined the system and this community, it makes it so much easier just having the right people around you.
Hey guys, I have Quinn here. He's coming out from the implementation program and he's willing to share his experience using the system. So, brother, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? And also, how did you come across the porn reboot system?
I feel like I've been struggling with this behavior for a while. Uh, since I was pretty young, I came across porn at around 12 years old. And I feel like I've been addicted since the later years in high school. Um, and I think I first figured out I had a problem back in 2018, 2019, so a while ago.
Mhm.
And it's been a few years. And so when I noticed the bad effects of, what my compulsive behavior was having on me, I just, I was listening to a lot of podcasts at the time and I just searched it up on Spotify and I came across it. And a lot of what JK was saying in the podcast, really resonated with me. But then that was a few years ago, and I just sort of um, assumed that I could just listen and take the tools he was presenting and do it on my own. Over the years, I found I still struggled trying to, do it by myself, and eventually it got to a point where it was starting to have impact on my relationship. So yeah, I knew I needed to change it. I also knew it was holding me back in terms of my career and my focus. So yeah, I knew I had to reach out, and so I did. Yeah, I reached out and spoke to Han.
Nice, man. No, thank you for sharing. Dang, so you've been a listener since 2018, or you knew
I
you had a
started
problem.
listening back in 2021. I knew
Twenty.
I knew there was a bit of a problem in 2018. Yeah, but
Oh, nice,
yeah,
bro. Okay, no, thanks for sharing that. And no, the podcasts were great. I remember I listened to them as well back in the day. And all right. So when coming into the program, Quinn, what was like your first impression? Like, what was like, whoa, this actually has been helping me control my behavior, or at least like this is different from what I've seen or done in other programs.
I hadn't really tried too much other stuff. I think I did try a lot in terms of trying to discipline myself in terms of deleting all the apps from my phone, and using like filters, stuff like that. I think the biggest thing was just having the community around me, having all the brothers who were striving to be their best selves and overcome this behavior. That was the biggest thing that really helped me. Seeing all the brothers in the group being vulnerable, sharing their struggles and also their wins. Yeah, just having that community is a huge help. In the times when you're struggling, all you need to do is send a message in the group or to my accountability partner. Yeah, that's been the biggest thing in helping me grow and keeping me focused on my journey. So yeah, just the community side.
Nice, I love that. And you're right, the community is like very active in the Facebook group. And
Yeah.
okay, so what would you say you struggle the most? Obviously, besides like your compulsive behavior, and you notice like, you know what, this is just like surface level. So beyond that, what were you noticing? Like, man, I was really struggling with what was it your emotions, like your mental, or what was that the one thing that you're like, man, this is what I need to kind of hone in on to work on?
Yeah, there was a few things. I found I wasn't really in touch with my emotions that much in terms of I would shy away from relationships with other people. I just sort of stick to myself and my compulsive behavior to get me through tough times. So that was a really big thing. And
Mhm.
also in terms of my focus, I'd find it really hard to focus on little tasks or like even studying because I sort of developed this addiction in high school. So whenever I would study, I would get like strong, intense urges, and I found that really took away from my ability to focus and learn new things. So yeah, it was really affecting me in all different areas. So those were the things I knew, as well as overcoming my compulsive behaviors, working on getting over those urges and being able to learn a lot of new things.
No, bro, thanks for sharing that. And you're right, it does affect like a lot of like it bleeds into other areas in your life, right? You notice that. And all right, so as applying the system, what improvements did you notice? maybe did you notice them right away? How long did it take it to be like, you know what, I've been more consistent in this area of my reboot? What were those things?
Definitely took a lot of work. It wasn't instant results. Probably took a few months before I started being consistent. Like, it takes a few reps to get into those routines, especially the morning routine. So yeah, it took at least a couple of months for me to become consistent, and also some of the tools I would be a bit apathetic towards. I'd be like, like dialogue, what's that going to do?
Yeah.
um, but it was just good to have brothers around and my accountability partner just pushing me to use it. Now it's just dialogue's one of my go-tos, as well as the feelings exercise. And yeah, I just noticed that I'm just much more aware of my emotions and my triggers, and I can use the tools whenever I need to, just to be like, oh, what's going on inside my body? I know what's happening, and I know to address it and just move forward without acting out. I'm just grateful to be able to have those tools, and it just feels like I'm in control.
Yeah. All right. Dang. So you build a lot of awareness on and gathering that data, like, oh, I tend to sleep because I was just bored, but really I just didn't want to feel my emotions. And so that is a great deal because I feel like that was one of my big ones too early on. Like I didn't know emotions were a big factor into all this until I
Mm,
started to write it down. Like, oh yeah, I let feelings of inadequacy, make me not make me, but I choose to sleep because I didn't want to feel that. And just kind of learning to say, oh, you know what, I'm gonna choose the other way and just prove to myself that I am adequate. And hence, like, oh, that makes me feel better, right? My self-esteem goes up as a result of that. So that's really good to hear, brother. And you mentioned your accountability partner and or having an AP. Has that been, you said, a foundation for you? Is that like a strong AP relationship you had?
yeah, yeah, definitely. We still to this day message each other every day, keep each other accountable with our morning routines. We have a call at least once a week, and just it's so helpful. We can reach out to each other whenever we're struggling or just to share wins. So grateful for my AP, and he's been with me from the start pretty much. So yeah, he's been huge for me.
Do I love that? I love when someone finds like a solid AP because sometimes you notice it's like it's not
Yeah,
the best in some cases, right? And no one's perfect.
yeah,
But the fact
that's
that
it.
you, man, maintain that relationship, and you build closer, right? And it teaches you like, oh, it's sometimes we need that perspective of like, hey, I want to be there for someone, and hence that helps your reboot. And the other way
Mm,
around, right? When your AP helps you, it helps him. So it's this kind of like give and receive type of relationship versus our compulsive behavior is always a take, right? I want to take something from someone. So
no
when
doubt.
we
Yeah,
start to kind of like give, it could be weird at first, like, oh, I don't want to, resistance comes up. But then you notice, you know what, this is actually more fulfilling. Like when I'm
yeah,
actually there for someone. Hence it shows compassion, then that proves to you that hey, if I could show compassion to someone, then I could show compassion to myself, which
yeah,
those little nuances we don't really think about. But I
yeah.
love to hear that when APs last longer than a year.
Yeah,
That's great to hear.
no, he was really good, and yeah, he just set the example. Like just seeing the way he would use some of the tools, I'd be like, oh, okay, so that's the way I could be using that, and just different perspectives as well. And but sometimes I would be like, oh, what are you talking about? I didn't need that. But it's just he kept me in line, and yeah, he's been so helpful.
There you go, man. I love that. And also, so you mentioned like you would struggle with focus. So how's your focus now and the things you're doing in your life?
Yeah, I definitely find it's getting so much better. I just started studying this year, which is like the first time pretty much since high school. And I did feel those intense urges, that I used to have as well. And it has had an effect. It has been triggering at times. But now that I have the tools to sort of just be aware of what's happening, I've reached out to my accountability partners and they've given me strategies to manage them, such like taking breaks and not putting so much pressure on myself. I've noticed a lot of the urges have decreased over time, and it's just comes with putting the reps in. I also take like short meditation breaks whenever I need to in between study sessions.
Yeah.
So yeah, focus has really improved, and yeah, it just feels good to not be struggling mentally, at the same time as trying to learn.
Do I love that? That those little wins, man, and not even little. Those wins that we say, like, oh, you found a system that helps you kind of like especially when it comes to the academics. I'm the same way. Like, I hated school, but
Yeah.
it's more like, but once you find something like, oh, I could pace myself, I don't, like, I'm not like buying into my limiting self beliefs anymore. Like, it's
Mm,
very doable, right? You have
yeah.
that freedom or that extra energy or focus to actually do that, and know that you're human and you're not expected to, like, you're not a machine. You can't just read a book for 8 hours and expect to learn everything,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like unrealistic. And but that's good to hear, brother. I love that. And so coming out of the program, Quinn, what are you looking forward to? What's like your next step as you're progressing in your own life and reboot?
I think my career is a big one. Obviously, I'm studying to be a programmer, so that would be really good to try and secure a job in the technology industry. So that's a big one I'm working on at the moment. And just in terms of relationships, now that a lot more control of my behavior, I can walk around and talk to people, look them in the eye with integrity, without the shame and guilt hanging over my head. Yeah, just to be able to turn up for the people around me, my loved ones, work towards my best self. So yeah, just being self sufficient in my career and working on my relationships, not only with my partner, but my family and friends as well. Those are the biggest things I want to look at working on. And now that I have a lot of control.
I love that, bro. That's very wholesome. I love it. And it comes down to that, right? Human connection. And we were so
Yeah.
like deprived of that when you're in a compulsive behavior. So I like that you said I could look people in the eye and not feel weird and like, oh, they could see through me. But it's more like
Yeah.
I'm human and we're all, hey, I just learned like nobody is perfect. And I'm doing
Mm.
the work and I'm living in integrity, like you said. And bro, I like how you said it. That's really awesome. All right, bro. I'd like to ask this question towards the end. What would you tell a brother that's like listening to this? Like they relate to you, Quinn. They're like, man, you know what? Man, I suck at school. I didn't have focus. I was like, man, I, I was, I didn't know how to talk to people. I was reserved, right? They're like, they really relate to you, and but they're on the fence of like joining a program or he's seeking help. Actually, what would you tell that person?
I would just say, just reach out. The system works. It's changed my life, and it's so hard to do it on your own. Like I tried for so many years, and it was such a struggle. But once I joined the system and this community, it makes it so much easier. Just having the right people around you, yeah, it makes all the difference. And yeah, just go for it. You're wasting time waiting, so you might as well invest in yourself and strive for the best version of yourself.
Love it, man. Thank you for sharing that. Well, Quinn, I appreciate your story and your time in the group. I know a lot of brothers are gonna find it very helpful. And brother, I wish you nothing but the best. And of course, don't be a stranger. He's here for you.
Yeah.
And for brothers listening, thank you. And hey, what are you waiting for? Time goes on. 2020 was 5 years ago, right? Like, what are you gonna win the next
Exactly.
5 years, right? To get help.
Yeah.
So it's very important to hey, invest in yourself. You are worth it. Don't believe the lies of the addict that tells you you can change because that is not true. All right, brothers. I'll
So
see you in the next one.